Did you know 71% of the Congolese population is below the poverty line? The Democratic Republic of Congo is ranked 199th in the world for life expectancy, and malnutrition affects two-thirds of its population. As concerned citizens of the world, we are dedicated to helping eradicate extreme poverty and hunger in the Congo.
Despite the vast natural resources throughout the country, they are among the poorest in the world. Only 3% of the Congolese land is arable, and their government is corrupt and failing. Without infrastructure, organization, and urbanization, they are doomed to live with poverty and hunger.
The problems of the Congo go back years. King Leopold of Belgium abused the Congolese people during imperialism when the country became the Belgian Congo, leaving the country terribly unstable.
Their independence in 1960 brought about a huge political crisis. A dictator by the name of Mobutu took over and named the country Zaire until he was forced to flee in 1997. Since then, the Democratic Republic of the Congo has been in a brutal civil war, destroying any hope of infrastructure or organization.
This civil war has killed 5.4 million people since 1998.
This war affects Africa as a whole. 9 African nations are involved in this war, as well as about 20 armed groups. Rebel groups are forming throughout the continent, but their instability and inconsistency shakes the foundation of every country involved.
Natural disasters also deeply affect the Congo. The Congo River runs right through the country and annually floods. Droughts greatly diminish the country's already scarce food supply.
The lack of useful planting materials such as fertilizers, improved seeds, and non-traditional cultivation methods result in low agricultural productivity. Improvement seems impossible with transportation methods being in very poor condition and very expensive, as well as most of the country being rural and isolated. This makes it very hard for the nation to grow and develop.
Education is a huge factor in overcoming poverty, but the Congo lacks budget needed to rework the education system. There aren't enough teachers, facilities, and equipment to educate the children.
The government does little to help citizens in poverty. In fact, the government controls the state through fear and corruption, leaving the people of the Congo oppressed and stuck in the slums instead of prospering.
We believe solving the problem of poverty in the Congo is a priority because of its severity. It must be addressed because it leads to problems with education, child mortality, and maternal health. If the Congo ever hopes to show improvement in these areas, we must first focus on reducing its poverty in order to improve its standard of living.
We have come up with a 3-part plan to help eradicate poverty and hunger in the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Part 1. Educate the country's leaders on how to make good use of their natural resources.
Part 2. Reform the Congolese government.
Part 3. Create a foundation for distributing food aid to needy people throughout the country.
For the first part of our plan, we hope to teach the Congolese leaders how to sustainably use their country's vast natural resources.
In particular, we plan to help them utilize their rivers for hydroelectric power, along with their immense supply of minerals.
We will advise them on how to improve farming methods and further develop their nation's industry.
The second part of our plan, we will attempt to reform the leaders, constitution, and general workings of the Congolese government. In doing so, we will work with the Congolese people so that they are able to provide input on their new government.
Although it is possible that the leaders of the government may be resistant to change, we believe that they will be willing to listen to our plan to improve their country as a whole.
In order to encourage the Congolese to accept our plan, everyone will get a say in the reforms. By holding free elections with UN and USAID observers, we will enable new leaders to be elected democratically.
We will also work with the people of the Congo to write a new constitution. Our main goals are to lower corruption, improve stability, and allow the government to be more effective.
For the third part of our plan, we will establish a UN foundation to provide food aid for the Congo's many starving people. Although it is true that this will not solve the root problem of hunger, this is a temporary solution to give food to those who are currently starving.
Our solution is effective. The Congo has vast natural and human resources that give it the potential to become a wealthy country. If the Congolese leaders can be taught how to properly manage these resources, they can relieve their country from the hardships of poverty and lead their people to prosperity.
Reforming the government is also effective. It will give the Congolese people say in the reforms so they get a government they all want and deserve.
And for now, giving food aid is the quickest way to feed those who are desperate. By establishing a foundation, food aid will be more direct and organized, allowing it to get delivered to where it is needed the most.
Our solution is also sustainable. Teaching the Congolese how to use their natural resources will allow them to continue their own development for years to come.
By reforming the government, the Congo will become more stable in the future, enabling the economy to develop and grow.
The foundation is a more sustainable way of addressing hunger than simply sending food shipments. It is an organization that will continue to serve the poor for years as they
Our solution is also replicable. Other countries would benefit from learning how to effectively use their resources to the best of their ability.
Other countries with unstable governments can learn from these reforms and can potentially implement them or follow in their non-violent footsteps.
Similar food aid foundations can be made to help serve other countries in need.
Our solution is impactful. We believe that if the Congolese can be trained to make good use of their resources, the economy can be drastically improved.
It will create jobs for many throughout the nation and promote environmental sustainability. For example, if they are taught the latest mining practices, they will be able to have less of a destructive impact on the environment.
This training can also help benefit other countries if they decide to use their resources in forms of trade or exports. In addition, creating a stable government is a key step toward ensuring the people's basic needs are met.
Alleviating hunger would reduce malnutrition among children and pregnant women, reducing child mortality and maternal death rates.
The Congo needs our help. It is among the poorest nations in the world, and we believe we have developed an effective, sustainable, replicable, and impactful plan to make a difference in so many lives.
If we can put this plan into effect, we believe it will set the Congo on a path to prosperity and greatness.
Make a difference.
Make a difference.
Make a difference.
Are you ready?